Okay, thanks everyone for coming. We're going to focus class today on how the body can prepare us to be ready for the teachings of the yamas and the niyamas, but also how the yamas and the niyamas actually precede the practice of asana. This is in the 8 limbs of yoga. So I used to ask this question myself when I was a younger student of yoga. I would say, well, when I practice asana, I feel like the better version of myself. It seems like the yamas and niyamas are totally natural. They just come through me. But then I saw in the 8 limbs that yamas and niyamas come before the asana. So then I was wondering, well, how can that be? How will I practice those things before I go to my asana? If asana makes me feel like I can live those things so much more easily. So what I came to was the word reciprocity, that they're working together to help harmonize my life. And when we practice the yamas and niyamas, and then we go to our yoga mat, we have far fewer messes to clean up while we're on the mat. We have less residue in here, and we don't come to the yoga mat with unfortunate, unfinished conversations or the feeling of being out of alignment with ourselves in our life. So there's a reciprocity between yamas and niyamas, and then asana and pranayama. Yamas and niyamas, asana and pranayama, together like this. So with this in mind, I'm going to push my seat back so we can begin with our meditation and dive into our practice. So you can rest your hands in your lap, and you're welcome to close your eyes if that's a way that you practice meditation. And let yourself consider for a few moments, when you practice asana and pranayama, afterwards you can sense these qualities of heart or mind. And when you live those qualities of mind or heart, when you then come to your yoga practice, you're starting at a different place on the mountain, a different elevation on the mountain. I'm going to ask you to breathe in and out through your nose, but to sense on the inhale how you contact those deeper qualities and values. And on the exhale, how you relax any tension in your body that is between you and the felt sense of those values, those qualities or commitments. And one of the things we come to learn in yoga is that frequently we have to practice surrender. Ishvari pranidhana. We surrender our resistance to living those qualities, or we surrender the distractions that pull us away from those qualities, or we surrender needing to be farther along because right here and now is where we are. So please lengthen your spine and bring your hands together at your heart. You've already surrendered multiple things to be here for class. Your practice will encourage you to surrender a few more things. You've already made a commitment to be here for class, so you are practicing what we call vairagya and abhyasa. You're already doing it. This surrender and commitment. So we'll chant Sahana Vavatu together, please. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai, Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai, Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Open your eyes. Before there's a dismount here, I'll show you my teacher today. That's the meditation posture for the smaller of the two kittens. I have to sit really still. But now I have to put the kitten on the floor. We're going to come down. Oh, do you want to see the kittens? Annette's daughters are here. Here's the one kitten. See, sitting on my knee like that. Isn't that adorable? Yeah. The other kitten is in the back of the class right now. So we're going to start on our backs. Actually, yesterday in the restorative class, we started with 2 yoga blocks, and then I got these beautiful notes from you about how helpful that was for your upper back. And we're going to start there. So let me switch my camera to the other camera. You can come onto your back, please, and you're going to need 2 blocks and just some floor space. And you're going to go down, honey. Down, down. There you go. So one block is going to be flat. That one's going to go under your shoulder blades, and the other block's going to be medium. It's going to go under your head. And I would like you to have the space for your arms to go overhead, so don't set yourself up where you're going to run into the wall. So go like this. Oh, I got to switch my camera. Sorry about that. I don't think Andrew has that. It's a new system, so I'll do it, Andrew. There we go. Okay, so the first block on the medium setting is going to be where both of your shoulder blades go, like this. Second block for the head. And just do check that when your arms go overhead, you have the freedom, and you also have what I call snow angel real estate. It means that your arms can make a snow angel circle. You're not going to hit anything. And then take the arms out into a T shape like this, please. Now the shoulder blades are directly on that block, so the bottom edge of your block will not be lower on your upper back than the base of your shoulder blade. So it's not on your floating ribs right now, and it's not on your lower back either. And let's imagine the qualities of heart that you most enjoy expressing or exuding when you've had a yoga practice and you feel like you've come back to your essential self. And breathe in from your lower abdomen to your mid-torso, up to your heart, kind of inviting the fragrance of that quality of heart to fill you with the inhale. And on the exhale again, allow there to be this release of whatever would get in the way of that. Physical tension, mental distraction, self-doubt. Now with your next inhale, simply raise both arms so that you're stretching out from the center of your shoulders to your fingertips. You'll realize relatively soon that your arms weigh something and that gravity is pulling on the arms. But stretch fully with a long inhale. And exhale completely. Keep the arms outstretched, and as you next inhale, raise both arms straight up towards the ceiling so your palms are shoulder width apart. And then exhale both arms overhead as if you were doing Urdhva Hastasana or chair pose or even downward dog pose. And then inhale, raise your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, stretch out, going only to the height of your shoulders. You're going to be about 4 inches from the floor. Inhale, rise up. Draw in that heart quality that you long to express. Exhale, raise your arms overhead, releasing whatever distraction or obstacle you would have to that quality. Inhale, raise your arms up again. Exhale, open your arms, open the heart, the chest, collarbone, shoulders, just about 4 inches from the floor. You're going to pause, and then one more time, inhale to go up. Exhale, arms overhead. Inhale, rise up. And this time, exhale, open, open the arms and intend to go all the way to the floor slowly. You're going to go past that 4-inch mark and let your arms come all the way down to the floor. And then deeply relax both of your arms, palms facing up. Let each finger and thumb curl in as they do towards the center of your palms. And then please roll to your side, as awkward as the blocks are. Please roll sideways and come up to table pose with your 2 blocks. And I'm going to recommend that you have a blanket for your knees for this table pose. And the way that I'm going to ask you to fold the blanket is actually that you do it in thirds. So like this, it's a thicker blanket, but it's also more narrow in this direction. That's going to be there for your knees. Okay, and then 2 blocks for table pose. My assistant teacher here is going to help me. So place your palms firmly on the 2 blocks and your knees about hip distance apart. And let's just check that when you go back towards child's pose, this is the right distance for you. And so you've got your hands and knees already set. You don't have to move them to go from table to child's pose. So let's inhale now to cat pose first. Exhale backwards to child's pose. Inhale forward to cat pose. Gaze in towards your abdomen. Exhale forward to cow pose. Now inhale to cat, and we're going to start using the hum exhale and the straw exhale. Hum to child's pose. Hum. Inhale cat. Cow pose, blowing out. Inhale to cat. Child's pose. Hum. breathe through the nose, gaze inward towards the belly. Exhale, cow pose. And now inhale to downward facing dog pose with your hands on the blocks. Exhale, forward to plank pose, making it strong and smooth and stable. Gaze down between your thumbs. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, plank pose, blow through the nose, so Ujjayi exhale. Inhale, plank pose. One more time, exhale to plank pose, gazing down between your thumbs. Inhale to cat. Exhale, cow pose. Inhale, cat. Last one, child's pose. And now walk yourself forward and place your elbows on these blocks and put your elbows in the center of the blocks, please, with the blocks shoulder width apart. Put the palms together to start like a prayer, and then press into your fingerprints and thumbprints so you separate the heels of your hands quite a bit. Then we're going to tip backwards. So you start with the elbows in the center of the blocks because when you tip backwards, I don't want your blocks to tip over. As you reach back, go ahead and bring your hands up behind your head so your fingers and thumbs keep pressing against each other. That means that the heels of your hands are as wide as they are able to be. As you breathe in, try to get the breath to come into the back hemisphere of your waist and then the sides of your torso. You might be feeling this stretch across the back of the shoulder blades, outer shoulder blades, the upper back perhaps. Triceps. And then inhale and come forward so that now you can put the palms together. You're still on your elbows. And try to bring the chest forward like you're doing cow pose. Set the shoulders back. And when you bring your heart forward, also stretch your chin forward so long as your neck allows you to do that. Let's breathe in, like cow pose, but on the elbows. And now exhale, press into your fingerprints and slide back. Raise the hands behind your head. Inhale forward to cow pose on the elbows, palms together. And exhale, glide back. One more time, inhale forward to cow pose. And exhale, glide back. And then place your hands where they're the most stable for you to walk back to kneeling. Put your blanket aside and rise up to standing. Okay, and step forward for Surya Namaskar. Let me get my camera angle so I don't have my head out of the frame. In this sun salutation, we're also going to be looking at Cobra Pose. So just to know, your shoulders are going to be a part of our focus here. So place your feet to their hip distance apart. Join your palms together at your heart. It's like an Alice in Wonderland feeling on this camera. Just a moment. I don't know, it seems a little bit crooked to me, but as long as you guys are not going to get seasick, I'll go with it where it is. Okay, palms together. Come back into your Ujjayi breath. Remind yourself the inhale is to bring in those heart qualities that you already know you've tasted them from other yoga practices or other auspicious moments in your life. And the exhale is to release whatever would block that from happening right now, from that coming through you. So Ujjayi exhale one more time. And now Ujjayi inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Left toes back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, descend. Pace everything so you're synchronizing your breath, your body, your mind, and your heart. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, plank pose. Hands on the blocks. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, cow pose, Ujjayi exhale. Inhale, seal pose. Come through so the upper arms go back, heart comes forward. Exhale, cobra pose with your hands on the blocks. So squeeze the shoulders back and bring your heart forward. And then inhale, rise up, seal pose, and also lift your chin. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, descend. Inhale, downward dog. Left foot forward. Let nothing distract you from your purpose right now. Inhale, rise. And don't assume the purpose is only breathing and moving. Exhale, descend. You are synchronizing, concentrating, tending to, sensing, feeling many things. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to the heart. Once more, may these heart qualities that are native to each of us, may they shine through. Utkatasana. Rising up. Uttanasana, smooth, steady breath, inner arches, inner thighs toned. Inhale, glide forward. Left toes back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, descend. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Plank. Inhale, cat pose. Cow pose. Seal pose. Cobra, exhale. Inhale, seal. Plank. Adho Mukha Svanasana. You exhale, right foot forward. Don't let anything distract you. It's more than just getting the breath and the body to synchronize. Exhale, descend. Downward dog. Left foot forward. Inhale to rise. Descend. Forward. And then bowing. Rising up. To the heart. I'm going to ask you to stand really still, just to sense what's happening. Sometimes you can feel in that like effervescent echo of what's going on, almost like the fog is dissipating. Hopefully your inner connectivity is stronger. And you could imagine those qualities of heart native to you would just be shining through. Now as you are, please reach back to interlace your fingers. So I'm going to step back so I'm in the frame better. When you clasp your hands and squeeze the shoulders back, and please make sure it is your shoulders going back like this, not that you're taking the elbows back first and the shoulders come forward. So squeeze your shoulders back and then reach your arms back. Now keeping the chest and heart centered for the moment. Rotate your nose as far as it goes to your right. Press your left shoulder back. And let the nose come to center, and keeping your right shoulder back, turn your head as far as it goes to your left. And bring your head back to center, fingers still interlaced. If you need to, bend your knees, otherwise come down to a straight-legged Uttanasana. Bring the arms overhead, fingers still clasped. Squeeze your shoulders up towards your hips, away from your head. Turn your nose as far as it comfortably goes to your right. And back to center. And as far as it comfortably goes to your left. And back to center. And then rising up, shoulders back, lift the base of your skull, then your heart, then your torso, and as you come up, release the clasp of your arms and let them dangle until they become still. And imagine what you're feeling in your arms right now is partly a cleansing response. So your lymph system is doing that, so is your circulatory system. And every time we practice yoga and asana, we're also sort of cleansing the heart qualities. Sometimes you come, your yamas and niyamas are relatively in order, so you're kind of polishing the heart. You're just polishing, like you polish a stone, or you polish the morti, you polish. Other times we're coming and we're trying to get the mud off of the heart. So if you're in the mud phase, no worries, the cleansing is still important. If you're in the polishing phase, enjoy. Okay, so now I'd like to take this to an exploration in Cobra Pose. So if you'll bring your blanket back for your knees and place it for your belly button instead, the one you used for your knees. So fold it in the same way, but now this time for the belly button. For a moment, put the blocks aside and then lie on your belly button on the blanket. And what you can do is put your head so it's either face down, centered on your palms, or turn your head to one side or the other. And I will look forward at you from time to time. Okay, so you're on the belly button on the blanket. Welcome to the belly bolster. So you can notice the pressure of the blanket against the belly, but also the expansion of the inhale across your back. So one of the places that people will talk about Cobra Pose feeling less than great for them is in their lower back, and that usually means that there's some tension in the belly. The psoas might be tighter than is optimal. The hip flexors could be tighter than optimal, or the upper back and the thoracic spine aren't able to do their part of Cobra Pose, so the lower back ends up getting compensated or compromised, which can feel like lower back compression. So right now try to sense the broadness of your lower back, from the top of your sacrum to the base of your floating ribs. Now in the belly, of course, you might be experiencing the residue of many, many abdominal flinches, the little, well, not always little, but little flinches in response to stress, minor or major or medium stressors. So now please come to your elbows like a slumber party pose. So I still want the belly button to be on your blanket. And what you can do is tuck the right toes under and squiggle that foot backwards so your right leg has the feeling like it's going to get longer. And then point the toes of your right foot again. Tuck the left toes under and squiggle them back. So both legs are equally long. Point those toes. With your elbows, walk them a little bit forward and then give yourself a little pull forward so you're stretching your belly over this blanket roll. If you feel your heartbeat, no worries, that's a good sign. If you don't feel it, so long as you're, don't worry. You're not always in just the right spot to feel your heartbeat in your belly. Now, bend each knee so your feet point up a little bit like windshield wipers, and just tip them slowly left and slowly right. They don't have to go very far. You are going to be massaging the low belly. As you're rolling across left and right, there might be different kinds of sensation or tension. Let me hypothesize with you that what we feel in the belly right now is the residue of stress and our behaviors, thoughts, and activities in response to stress. When you next bring your feet back to center, let's have that one be the last one. And then you can touch the toes down, place your hands beneath your shoulders, and press yourself up to table and back to child's pose. Place your knees up on the blanket, please. So your child's pose is going to have your hips be lower than your heels. Take a block for your head. Open the knees as you need to for the belly to be relaxed. And then walk your hands back to your knees. And let's take a look at Cobra Pose. Okay, for this Cobra Pose, I'm going to have you turn this blanket, this same blanket. Now, you've got one side where it might be more lined up, like this. And that's the side that I want you to have facing you. The other side of my blanket is more, some pieces are longer and some are shorter, so that's not as solid as this. And you're going to have the pubic bone be here. I'd like you to have your blocks close by because we're going to use them for those whose shoulder flexibility allows it to happen. Okay, then we place the pubic bone on the edge of the blanket. So to know where you are on the blanket, if you tip the pubic bone down, you're going to feel it actually pressing into the front edge of the blanket. But you should have the ability to move the tailbone down, and the pubic bone will gently again touch into that blanket. And that low part of the abdomen might be tender for some of you. Let me take my glasses off because you're going to center your forehead on the blanket. Place your hands back underneath your shoulders and elbows. So if you walk the hand back so that maybe the fingers are lined up with the base of your sternum, the base of the breastbone, your elbows are going to be farther back. So my profile view on that would look like this. You're walking the hands back until they're pretty far back because on the blanket we can use that setup. Now lengthen your tailbone, press into your legs and the tops of your feet against the floor. And then bring your shoulders towards your ears like you're shrugging. Shoulders back away from the floor towards the ceiling. And now from the back of your shoulders start rising up to Cobra Pose. Lift the base of your skull, open your heart and your throat. Keep the arms actively engaged, but also know that you're using some of your back muscles, upper back muscles. Imagine the hands pressing down and pulling back as if you were going to pull your heart forward beyond the front edge of your blanket. And breathe in one more time. And then exhale and glide down. Turn your head to one side. Allow yourself to relax between Cobra poses. Now bring your head to center, please. Again, lengthen your tailbone, lengthen your lower back. Press down with the tops of your thighs and knees and the tops of both feet. And then shoulders forward towards your ears. Back away from the floor towards the ceiling. And now as you squeeze the back of your shoulders, roll up to Cobra. Lift the base of your skull. Press your shoulders back. Gently raise your eyes and your chin, so long as it feels like it's adding to your beautiful experience in Cobra, not like it's compromising anything. You should feel that you are using back muscles. Your legs should stay toned. We don't have to over squeeze the butt. So the sacrum and the tailbone, they do move towards your heels, but you don't have to squeeze the butt like we used to say, like the old-fashioned egg beaters. Now to see what extent could you come up to just your fingertips. And the shoulders can remain active, but you're not really weight-bearing in the arms. And then exhale, lower your palms, roll your spine down one vertebrae at a time, turn your head to your left. And take a deep breath into the lower belly. That should broaden across your back waist nicely, we hope. And then bring yourself to center on the elbows for a moment, and you're going to place you can place the two blocks like this so that they're flat and they go under your elbows like in a slumber party pose, like so. This is called slumber party pose, but you won't find that in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, only here. in this Zoom room. So this is an option for making your Cobra Pose more articulate. But another option for those of you for whom your upper back is more limber and you'd like to explore it, you place the blocks for the hands back here. And then for everyone with the tailbone long and your legs engaged, that is important, you're going to lengthen the heart forward. When you're doing that, try drawing your shoulders back, whether you're in Sphinx or you're doing Cobra on the 2 blocks. Lift your chin and open your throat just as much as it's adding to your experience of the pose. And if you're in Cobra with the 2 blocks and you'd like to explore it, you can press down and start rolling your upper back up, up. You will leave the blanket. The pelvis will come off the blanket. Straighten your arms if you like and raise your chin. And then if you went up to seal pose, now slide your shoulders back and really slowly come down. So Cobra Pose is already expressing itself in your body. And as you come down, like a more formal Cobra Pose. And then if you were in Sphinx Pose, and for anybody in Cobra, let's now push the blocks aside, turn your head to your right, and let the shoulders relax. And try to sense the movement you've had from exertion to ease. Also, if you feel like you're working hard, consider that it is kind of hard work for these heart qualities to end up shining through us. It is important and difficult work. And right now you're working against gravity. That's one of the big things. Gravity both in terms of your posture and gravity in terms of Cobra Pose. And gravity is kind of akin to the constant undertow in human nature not to be at its best. So Cobra is asking you to rise up out of that undertow. So now we'll do one more variation on this, and this is, you have to make your personal choices on this. So one option is Salambhasana, where you reach back to clasp the hands, and you gracefully, thoughtfully rise up, something like this. Another option for those who are more in the limber genetics is that you hold the tops of the feet, and we go up to bow pose. In both cases, the blanket is helpful, like my voice is nearly what it was without the blanket, without the pose. And keep the thighs pressing down, whether you're doing Salambhasana or bow pose, which is called Dhanurasana. And then as you exhale, lower back down. Gravity can feel soothing, but as I was just saying, it's also kind of metaphorically that undertow in human nature. So we're making an effort to lift the heart to its more sattvic qualities. And you can place your hands, press up to table pose, and let's go back to child's pose with the blanket, this time for your head. And keeping the arms out in front, we call this pose pranam. It means to make a forward, humble offering. And then walk your hands back towards your knees, rise up to kneeling. Please take your blanket to sit on for a moment. We're going to come into Upavista Konasana, before Shavasana. Please don't worry if you don't have a lot of Sanskrit in your vocabulary. It's a little bit like having freckles for me. It's very familiar. But I'll say it in English also. So it's called the wide leg forward bend. Now when you sit on the blanket, if you don't have flexible inner thighs or hips, if it's hard to get your pelvis to come upright here, I want you to sit a little bit higher up on your blanket. And in that case, you may also need to consider bending your knees so you're not hyperextending them. If you have a more flexible pelvis for coming forward, you can place the blocks for the arms like this, or you could place your arms down and use a block for your head. Whatever choice you make for coming forward, now rest your attention on the back of the heart, the space between your shoulder blades. And then please walk your hands back towards your seat. Press down to rise up, and let's reach for the sandbag for this Shavasana. I'm going to recommend that you place it on your thighs. So what you can do, put your blankets aside, your blocks aside, take your blanket, unfold it like this. Long blanket folded in half twice. Lengthwise down your mat. A sandbag for the thighs, so that what we're doing then is rooting the lower hemisphere of the body, but we're going to support the upper hemisphere, the torso. So your sandbag goes at the top of your thighs, kind of like just below the pubic bone and the ilium bones. And if you have a large dog that knows how to lie still, you could substitute that. And then you take the blanket to curl under your neck. So the blanket started at the top of your sacrum, at the base of your lumbar spine, supports the spine, but it's narrow enough in how we folded it that the shoulders can fall back towards the floor. And then turn your palms face up. If you need inspiration or optimism, place your palms face down if what you need is grounding or stability. Now, as you close the eyes, I'm going to ask you just to watch the inner experience of your body. You'll be going through these phases where Shavasana integrates what you've been practicing, and it also sheds that which you no longer need. Now watch the body getting a little heavier, the muscles softening, becoming more limp. Invite your senses to go inward. Again, observe the process. You aren't making it happen, but each of us get to witness it happening. The body gets heavier, muscles more deeply relaxed. Let your senses turn inward. And then observe the process one more time. Just observing. Notice the heaviness of the body. Invite your senses to be inward. And imagine the qualities of heart that you long to live, to express. Imagine those in you just now. You've come home to them. a sandbag aside if you were using one. And please bend your knees so you can roll to your side. And you can use both hands to come back up to sitting. And take a simple upright seat when you can. And try to sense those qualities of heart that are native to you. We didn't add them just now. We're coming back home to them. Jejema, 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 Jejema. And bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you. Namaste. Very nice to see you all. I have a bright sun coming through, but I can see you really well on my computer. How are you feeling?